Do sprinters really need to run long? Should a 100-meter sprinter jog for 30 minutes? Or that's just a waste of energy? Today I'm breaking it down event by event. The 100, the 400, and the 800. We'll look at the science, energy system, and the training that actually works. By the end, you'll know exactly when long run helps and when it hurts.
And you know I run it back. I want all the noise on the track, running laps, yeah. Like I'm Ross Roy, I'm living fast, switching lanes, yeah.
Welcome to the Lifestyle Addicts YouTube channel. If you're new to the channel, remember to like and subscribe. Before we get any further, I bring you guys videos each week. If you're a sprinter and you're new to the channel, I try my best to give you informative videos and help you to improve your sprint technique. But 85% of the people who watch the videos are not subscribed. So if you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, and I promise you I will do my best to bring you as much information as I can about developing or increasing your sprint performance. So without further ado, let's go. First of all, let's define what a long run is. A long run is anything over a minute to 2 minutes at steady pace. That is what a long run is. First thing we're going to do here is compare tempo running to special endurance. Right? This is where a lot of sprinters get confused. Tempo running is anything where you're running multiple reps of a certain distance. For example, a good example of a tempo run would be repeat 200s or repeat 100s, and you're doing them at about 65% working on your form. That would be considered a tempo run. Now let's compare that to a special endurance run. A special endurance run would be you're running at 350 meters, close to all-out effort, 95% working on your sprint form, working on your sprint mechanic, and race pace. Another good example of a special endurance run would be 2 300s, and you have to run them at 95% max, close to race pace with full recovery in between. Do you see the big difference there? Both of these can be used at certain point of the season, but a lot of athletes always get confused with special endurance and tempo running. They're two totally different things. Now let's look at the psychology of all these events, the 100, the 400, and the 800. The 100 is a 10-second sprint if you're going fast. Also an entirely anaerobic system sprint. That means your ATP/PC system is highly involved. The 400 meters is a 45 seconds to 50 second sprint if you're doing it fast. This sprint is 55% to 75% anaerobic, but 25 to 45% of this sprint is also aerobic. Aerobic helps with recovery between reps and also teaches the athlete how to run under fatigue. Now let's look at the psychology of the 800. The 800 for regulars or for most athletes is 1 minute and 45 seconds to 2 minutes and 10 seconds. So still under the 3-second barrier. The 800 is 60% aerobic, 40% anaerobic. The aerobic training is essential for when we think about the last 200, last 300 meters. This is where your aerobic training system comes in. There's a lot of misconception around running the 8. I see athletes run the 8, train for the 8, and they train like they're going to run a marathon to run 800 meters, 2 laps around the track. From my experience, all the guys, and I've been to a university where guys are running 145, 144, 800s, and these guys don't train like that. Sure, they do a little bit of steady state and a little bit of cardio. We all do that. But when we think about the track specific training, these guys are at the track running 400s, 200s, 600s, the same type of training that we would do. Right? They are very fast. They are not long runners. They are fast runners. For example, a good 800 guy should be able to come to the 400 and give you a fast 400. That is the definition of a real 800 meter sprinter. Now let's look at what the research shows. Interval or tempo training gives similar effects to your aerobic system, meaning if you run the 100 or you run the 800, interval training will benefit. But also keep in mind, high doses of endurance training can blunt or slow down your sprint and power gain, meaning you should be able to do 1 or 2 days out the week where you're doing a little bit of endurance work as a sprinter, but it shouldn't be compromising your sprint technique, your sprint form. So you as an athlete or your coach should be able to interject these type of workouts into your training without it interfering with your sprinting. And this goes for the 100, the 200, or the 800, or the 400, all the sprint events. Key method here to look at when we're thinking about training for the 1, 2, 4, and 800 is strength training, sprint training, plyometrics, and some form of conditioning work. tempo work. You should build a foundation with all these exercises or all these methods of training and carry it through the season and get more specific as the season commences. Now let's break it down event by event. When we look at the 100 and the 200 meters, they shouldn't be doing long runs. Long runs create fatigue, risk of slowing down fast twitch muscle adaptation. Now let's look at the 400. Maybe in small doses we could add a little bit of long runs, and I wouldn't do too much of a long run. The longest I will have my 400 meter runners run for is probably about 10 minutes. That's the most long run they will do continuous running, because the 400 meter require a bit of aerobic training, but not too much because it's also a sprint. Only reason why I would interject something like this into the training is if we're developing a new 400 meter runner and they're not able to come to the reps. So for example, we have repeat 300s or repeat 200s and they're not able to come to the reps properly. That means their aerobic system needs a little bit of work. The main tool for my 400 meter runners and my 100 meter runners can do this as well is going to be tempo runs between 300 and between 200 and 450 meters. We don't go no further than that. And also I would sprinkle in a little bit of special endurance in there as well. Now let's look at the 800. Yes, the 800 meters, for sure, these guys need a little bit of long run. I wouldn't have my 800 guys running a marathon, and that's how most coaches look at it. They run the 800 guys into the ground and they still run slow, right? They're thinking about running them long instead of running them fast, right? So sure, your aerobic system plays a crucial role in the 800 because you're running over a minute and 30 seconds, 90 seconds. So weekly runs of 30 minutes and up to 45 minutes is good, but we're not trying to do a lot of that. What I would do is set my guys up for speed on the track. So instead of doing a crazy long run 3, 4, 5 days a week and killing them with 1,000, we would work more on 600 meter pace. We would work more on 400 meter pace. I would try to develop 400, 600 or 500 to get them faster, if that makes sense. Then I will combine all of this because I would love my 800 guys to have a good VO2 max, and also I need them to have good speed. So my 800 guys I don't want my 800 guy to come out there and he's able to run 10 times 1,000. But if I give him 400 and I need them at 50 something pace, he can't do it because all he's used to is running for long. You understand what I mean? So I need them to understand the pace of the 800 and how close it is to the 400 when you do it right. Here is a nice setup for a 100 meter sprinter. This is a practical weekly setup for a 100 meter sprinter. Day one, we're accelerating. That means we're working between 0 to 30, 0 to 40 meters. That's what we're doing on day one. Day two, we're going max velocity plus lift. Max velocity means you're running anything over 90 meters up to 200 meters. That's max velocity. All right, we're gonna do that on day two, plus we're gonna lift. Day three, that's when we do our tempo stuff, and our tempo stuff is gonna be something like repeat 250s, repeat 300. My sprinters don't go over 350 meters. Right? That's how I would set it up for my sprinters. No long run involved. For my 400 meter runners, it's the same idea. Right? 400 meter runners, day one, we're accelerating. Day two, we're working on max speed plus lift. Day three, we do a little bit of tempo. Day four, we focus on extensive plyometrics and strength training. Rest one day, and then we would do a 10-minute run to recover on an off day. Right? So still no crazy long running through the week of training. For my 800 guys, sure, same thing. We're accelerating on a Monday, max velocity on a Tuesday, plus lift, Wednesday tempo. Thursday, I may add in a recovery run. I need a full day recovery, and then I will add in a long run at the end of the week or on the weekend, based on how my athletes do in the week. I know this is not the normal method to run all of these events or to run the 800, but I just wanted to touch on the point here that if you are an 800 meter runner and your coach is training you like you're gonna run a marathon, you're not training properly. You're going to end up getting hurt, you're going to be overworked, overused, and start developing injuries, right? And start developing bad running mechanics. So I hope this information helps somebody out there who's looking to run the 8 and open your mind up about how to train for the 800. And until the next video, it's Rockstar Kato here, and I'm out.
And you know I'm running back. I want all the noise on the track, running laps, yeah. Like I'm Rockstar, I'm living fast, switching lanes, yeah.